Hello, trauma warriors. I'm Janae with Defeating Childhood Trauma, and welcome to the Netflix binge edition of my Survival Mode Science Hacks miniseries. 5 episodes inspired entirely by you. Every question, every comment, wait, why does my brain do that you left on my last 2 science series shaped this one. So if you ever wondered whether your voice matters here, this series is living proof it does. We're tracking everything that keeps trauma brain stuck in survival mode, from the body that can't sit still, to the flashbacks that won't quit, to finally giving our fractured memories a timeline again. Let's dive in. 5 hacks, 1 mission. Teaching your brain that safety isn't boring. It's progress. Why can't I just sit still? Even when nothing's happening, it's like my body thinks the danger's still here. That's survival mode. Cortisol is still firing. The timekeeper is offline, and your nervous system thinks that stillness equals danger. What about me? I can't move at all. It's like I'm trapped in my own body. Yeah, freeze is the cruelest trauma response. You get the same fear and cortisol as you get in fight or flight, except in freeze response, your body has you under lockdown. So not only are you feeling the fear, you're also feeling powerless.
Oh, relax. You're safe now. Just stop thinking about it.
Thanks, Captain Useless. If it were that simple, none of us would need science hacks. Here's the hack. Don't force stillness. Start with micro movements. Wiggle your toes. Tap your fingers. Fidget with the pin. If you're wearing a ring, you can turn it on your finger. Or a little micro fidget with the hem of your shirt. Or, my favorite, rock in your chair. Personally, I think that all trauma survivors should have a chair that moves. Mine rocks and swivels, so I have even more options. Babies are soothed by rocking, and so will your nervous system. This is how we calm ourselves out of survival mode without gaslighting our bodies. Tomorrow's science hack, I'll show you how to train your hippocampus out of dynorphin's negative memory bias so that it isn't flooded with only negative experiences. I got so many bad memories just stacked up. I don't know how to believe in a better future. I can't even believe in me. It feels like it's always going to be this way. But here's the thing you're going to find hard to believe. We are having confidence building experiences, but because of our trauma science, we are not remembering it. That's why I created the Reflections x3 formula for bullet journaling. First for myself, and then I figured out, hey, this works. Do it again and share it with others. Wins, insights, moving forward. Weekly reflections, monthly reflections, 90-day reflections. This is my first Reflections x3 bullet journal, all the way back from the year 2020. And this was my first week. Each day, just jot down quick single-line notes, shorthand style. Don't worry about wins or insights in the moment. Just log your day, even if it feels like a bad one. Then, at the end of the week, that's when you reflect. Suddenly, the good stuff you thought you lost shows up again. Your own notes jog your memory, and you realize more went right than you remembered.
But what if your week was nothing but bad?
That's normal. In fact, my first week, no wins, but plenty of insights. Let's be real. Trauma makes us a little cynical, but reflection turns the tables. You're literally telling your hippocampus what to remember just by reflecting. It lowers dynorphin's negativity bias and raises dopamine's confidence signal. Over time, that seesaw effect between dynorphins and dopamine shifts. You can get the full guide for free on my site, defeatingchildhoodtrauma.com. Look for the category Reflections x3 Bujo. All 5 articles I'll try to link in the description. You'll be the one laughing all the way to the bank in the future when I turn it into a paid course, and then you'll be like, nah, 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 nah. I don't have to take this course because Janae gave it to me for free. So go get my favorite tool, the one I still use to this very day. Tomorrow, we'll be tackling the biggest question I got from the past series: how to safely work on memory retrieval without re-traumatizing yourself.
I can't remember whole chunks of my childhood. It's just blank.
Fuzzy childhood memories are common with trauma. And that's not failure, it's trauma science. Cortisol fragments our timeline, and then oxytocin often blocks our recall. But there are safe ways to jog our memory. Hack 1, pop culture cues. Try billboard hits, TV shows, and popular toys from those missing years. Sometimes one song can unlock a whole scene. Saturday morning cartoons, even holiday specials. Think of them as keys that could unlock old filing cabinets in the brain. Hack 2, sensory anchors. Sounds and smells work too. Use your 5 senses to recall your childhood home. What did it look like? What sounds filled the room? What smells lingered? The scent of a certain food, the creak of a screen door. Use gentle cues. Never force it. This builds a safe memory map. Hack 3, mapping a location. Draw a rough layout of one room or the whole house. Furniture, toys, even where the TV was. No need to be an artist or an architect. You're giving your hippocampus landmarks to work with. I did this on Canva. At first, I only remembered the bottom half of the house, the kitchen and den, because that's where the trauma happened. Then, memories of toys in my room surfaced. Noah's Ark, Weebles, Bam Bam Bop Bag. It was surreal. The home of my earliest traumatic memory came into sharper focus. The goal isn't to force recall. It's to give your brain safe entry points. Because sometimes memories arrive gently, and other times they crash uninvited. Tomorrow, we'll tackle intrusive flashbacks, why they feel unbearable, but also how they can spark real rewiring when handled safely.
Every day, I am minding my business, not even thinking about the past. And bam! Another bad memory slams in my head, and I want to explode.
You see, every brain fires random memories throughout the day, especially when we're idle, and that's normal. Now, with a trauma survivor, if you're having these chronic memories that are very specific in theme, triggering the same emotional reaction, well, that's your brain trying to reprogram the old survival code. Growth hurts, And intrusive memories are like emotional growing pains. You see, when you're having these intrusive memories, but you can't grieve them, it's going to amplify your anger. I have personal experience with this one. In fact, I wrote an article about it on my site. A year of rage flashbacks, heal along with Janae. And that was daily, too. So when you guys tell me, but they suck, I'm here to tell you, I know. Now, anger might want you to punch faces, but unless you're collecting assault charges like Pokemon cards, we gotta give it smarter outlets. So here's some hacks. Anger carries lots of energy with it, so movement is key. Venting also with a safe person who's willing to hold space for whatever memory it is you're processing out. When I spent my year in rage flashbacks at my enabler father, I decided to create a confrontation rap with music and my husband standing in as representing Papa. Want to see a clip?
You're a coward, traitor, spineless enabler. So busy loving you dearly that I never saw you clearly. You're a coward, traitor, spineless enabler.
And that was how I brought relief to the overwhelming year of rage flashbacks. And no, my husband was not harmed in the making of that video. And my self-abandonment programming was rewired. So you don't have to erase intrusive memories. Relief comes from harnessing them so that they work for you, not against you. And speaking of memories, tomorrow we'll dive into why cortisol shreds your timeline like confetti and how to piece it back together.
I want to tell the world what happened to me, but I got all these fragments with no clear timeline. It makes me feel like I can't tell my story.
As someone who is deeply passionate about survivors sharing their stories, let me tell you, those fragments are the truth of trauma. Brief science refresher. Cortisol is your danger stamp. It burns in certain moments while scattering the timeline. That's why when we try to tell our trauma stories, they tend to come out like shattered glass. One big, vivid shard while there's all these scattered fragments everywhere. And what we need are time anchors. I know one trauma survivor who was able to anchor one of his fragments by using the time anchor. He remembered there was an unusual snowstorm during one of his traumas. So using the snowstorm as a time anchor, he looked it up, found the exact date, and just like that, that trauma had a timestamp. For me, I got 2 full pages of fragments from my summer of '86, the most severe trauma of my entire life. The big picture was always clear. I was 11 going on 12. I was isolated, beaten every day while being forced to raise my baby brother who was turning a year old. But outside that, fragments. Meanwhile, what I nicknamed a short summer, which was 2 weeks with nice relatives, my brain had originally time slotted that in the wrong year. So making a shorthand list of your fragments can help provide more clarity and light bulbs. Some of my fragments came with automatic time anchors, like the Father's Day cake incident. Some I tracked using the Billboard hits. Addicted to Love was the opening song of the 1986 Soap Opera Awards, which I remembered watching with my cousin, the daughter of the nice relatives I stayed with for 2 weeks. So I looked up when it aired and got a time stamp for that short summer. That's the power of even small anchors. They help us survive. They help us tell our truth like the best advocate we never had. New map tomorrow. We'll be zooming out to see how these body chemicals interact with each other, and 3 new players joining this cast: vasopressin, endorphins, and adrenaline. And that was Survival Mode Science Hacks, born from your questions and built on your courage. We learned how to calm the body, retrain the hippocampus, safely recall lost memories, harness intrusive flashbacks, and finally anchor our timelines. If even one part of this series helped you feel seen, heard, or a little more hopeful, that means we did this together. Your comments and questions keep shaping this journey, so keep them coming. Next up, your trauma story in chemistry form. We'll zoom out to meet all 12 body chemicals and learn how they choreograph your memories, emotions, and healing. If you've made it this far, you officially binge watch science. The algorithm thanks you, and so does my hippocampus. Forged in trauma, rising as warriors.